the civil rights movement, they were only admitting white students, and that access, in which all students were accepted, was the result of the Black civil rights movement, which enabled all races to attend certain institutions. And so those small things that I dropped, explain to them. I feel like a lot of them forget that a lot of the issues at hand that impact African Americans in this country at one point did apply to them as well, and they don't understand that that's the reality that we're facing, and they feel like they're not exactly going to be victimized by such racism and institutional structures that are in place. And so that, to me, is what I push for the most, is trying to bring on different groups and allow them to understand that this applies to them as well. And in order for us to move on as a community, we have to unite and understand that it impacts us all. Everything impacts us all.
Another thing I've seen common and what leads to the divide is because not a lot of African American Black people, they don't rise up to that leadership position in terms of running. If you see yourself in a issue or a problem in your community, go ahead and run for it. Lead that community that you live in and lead those people that are following you. So that I feel like would probably mend it, because a lot of times what I see is that in communities that need help or in communities that needs much more attention, other people are rising to that occasion that do not experience the same experiences as people in that community. So it's more of a divide between that. So if more people or more Black people would own up, and not really own up, but grow into that leadership position, I think that they would somehow mend the bridge or that gap.
I think a lot of times young people, we came out for 2008, we had strong numbers in the youth vote for 2012, but even those midterm elections in 2010 and 2014 are so critical. So a lot of times we think voting is the only step we have to take. That's really the first step. The first step actually should be researching the candidates before you vote for them. Yeah. But the second step is voting. But then it's also about holding your government, leaders, your elected officials accountable. Yeah. I mean, they work for you, so you should be the one who's holding them accountable. I like to think of voting like a job review. So if you have a job and you have a performance evaluation, if you have not done well, you need to be fired. And if you have done well, you should keep your job. And so really kind of thinking through, what are some of the steps that you can take to be civically engaged? Voting is definitely a part of that.
For the presidential election, where that's by an electoral college, or your midterm election, when you're voting your senator, you're voting for your legislators. Those is your votes are actually being taken into place. So we need to encourage our communities to go out during midterm elections and take that action. So.
Since August 8, 2014, it's been a hard struggle.
Yes.
It's almost like walking again, taking baby steps to get myself and get the family back together. So much of a hard tragedy. I do a lot of speaking to youth, just to encourage them, to let them know we have your back. And a lot of times, what we don't understand is that we have to sit back and listen to them.
That's true.
We can't always just talk over these kids. We have to sit back and just listen. And once you get in tune with them, they tell you what you need to know, and then you can help them with their best interests. But that's basically what I've been on to encourage you, and just keep pushing forward with that. I appreciate all the love from all over the nation. We love y'all just like y'all love us. And thank you.
Why me? Why my brother? Only God knows, and everything happens for a reason. And
Thank you. All right. It's okay. Take your time. We're all here for you.
When this happened to us last year, I was an adult with a child. My daughter, she was 3, she's 4 now. So You know, she knew my father. We spent a lot of time together. And like I tell people, like we fought hard, but we loved hard. So, you know, those memories that you have, those are the memories that you hold on to because.
You okay?
It's usually easier for me to talk about it, but it's just like, you know, you never really heal, and I haven't really had the time to really grieve for my situation because it's like I just automatically jumped into, you know, getting out there, making people aware, but it's much more than that. It's about how people raise their kids so they won't be a victim. Like, you know, you teach your kids certain things so they won't be a victim. I fear for my daughter all the time. Like, sometimes I say I'm glad I didn't have a boy because I would fear for my son. Like, I think of my brothers, they're younger than me. They, you know, they're out there all the time. I worry about them because of who their father is or, you know, because of their relation to the family. So it's hard to, like, you know, look at your brother and say, okay, I'll see you later because you really don't know. Like, you know, I saw my father the weekend before and I said, okay, I'll see you next week. And that week never came. So it's like, it's more important now to be involved because it's like, if you're not there for your kids, it's not gonna give them the comfort to say, okay, I can go to my parents with anything. You know, like, they feel scared, so they look for love in other places. That's why they go to gangs, because they don't have a family. They say the gang is their family. But if they had the support or the people that they needed from the beginning, they wouldn't have to look for alternate people who they consider family.
Myself and my husband, you know, it was a thing where we didn't want our children to be non-productive members of society. So, and everybody used to say, Pinky, you talk to the kids like that? Well, my nickname is Pinky. And I say, because I want them to know. You know, I want them to know that I'm not going to accept teenage pregnancy. I'm not going to accept you doing drugs. I'm not going to accept you disrespecting me. I'm not going to accept you disrespecting anyone else. I made sure that they are respectful, you know, and I told them, your only job is to bring me a high school diploma. If you choose to go to college, then fine, I can't afford to send you. So if you want to go, you need to work hard to get that opportunity to go. My daughters chose not to go. You know, Emerald went back. You went for a little while, you know, and you know, they all bring me diplomas. That's all I asked for. Now I have my 2 boys. And then when this happened to my husband, it was like, what do I do now? I have to raise men. I'm not a man. I can't teach them how to be a man. But I can look around at other men and let them know that this is what I want from you. This is how I want you to present because you represent me. So if I don't do a good job as a parent, I can't expect you to do a good job as a child. I have to tell you how I want you to be. My son is 20 and he'll be 21 and he just got, you know, a full scholarship for basketball at college. And he has a 3.8 average, you know, and he's doing very well. And he goes to school in Newark. They don't live in their own apartments, but you would swear I paid their bills because I call them, I want to know who's in their house, who they leave there if they went out. You know, I want to know everything. And they say, Ma, you know, we grown. Yeah, okay, y'all can be grown, but until I'm in the ground, I'm going to worry. And y'all need to answer my questions. And I need to know, you know. So, and then now I have my 15-year-old son, and he's like 6'6", and he plays basketball, and, you know, he spends time with his brother at college, so that gives him the incentive to say, Mom, I want to go to college. So I told him, okay, well, you know what you got to do? You got to get that scholarship, because I'm broke. I ain't got no money. And I always, I see young girls in the street and I stop, they always say, "Ma, you always talking to strangers." But I don't feel like they're strangers. I feel like they're my children too. You know, I feel like if my neighbor's daughter is outside and I see her doing something she ain't supposed to do, I'm gonna say something. And if they get disrespectful, then hey, we can get disrespectful together. And then I'm gonna let your mama know that I can beat your ass. And then I take them home. I ain't gonna be very good. And I'm gonna get back to what you said.
I grew up in the streets, I was raised in Brownsville, but I'm afraid just letting them, between the violence and the police, I don't know what to do.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, you know, if I walk down the street and I see some police on one side and some thugs on the other, I'll be more comfortable with the thugs than not the police. So we have to deal with that on an everyday basis and educate. We must educate ourselves.
We all dealing with things differently. You know, like Jarvis with Trayvon, Eric Garner, Sean Bell, Diallo's family. We going through a lot of pain, so if you can, you see, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, so, you know, I take medication. So that helped me, but, you know, it helps me to a limit. And, you know, there was times where I even hear like sirens sometimes, and, you know, I start shaking, or if you walk in the street and I hear like whoop whoop, my heart starts beating and everything. Sometimes it's hard for me to even speak because the anxiety. I try my best to like understand what's going on, not trying to like make an excuse for, you know, officers, because wrong is wrong. But, you know, because there was a time I wanted to be a police officer myself. So for me to be assaulted, nearly killed by a police officer, it was effed up. For real. So I even have friends that was in the police force. You know, family that was in the military service. So I try to, you know, talk with, you know, my friend officers, or even try to like, you know, communicate with them. Like even when I see officers in the street, try to approach them at a respectful tone and manner to like create, you know,
Some type of dialogue.
create dialogue with each other so that we could have a mutual understanding, because we have to understand each other. And by doing that, that could like have an officer have a different perception to the people in the community. We're not animals. They was calling me animal, all of this type of stuff. You know, things that you can't imagine, you know, at the precinct.
Wow.
So I was trying to like create dialogue. You know, I went to therapy. You know, another thing is, you know, I read, this book has a lot of philosophy. It's real good. Rejectors don't need to get this. You know, it really helped me. Because you have to define yourself before others define you. And every life has a value. So think highly of yourself and believe in yourself, you know, because I'm not, it's like that Eminem song, you know, I'm not afraid to take a stand. You know, I'm not afraid. So, you know, we gotta like be able to like, you know, continue to like live on and, you know, be an example. Because if I would have committed suicide, I wouldn't be able to, you know, I wouldn't be helped to, you know, society. I wouldn't be in a position where I'm at now, you know, as a counselor with the youth huddle to like, you know, help these children. These children need me. These children need us. You know, sometimes we can't have our tail between our legs. We have to be strong for others. Because, you know, these kids is going through a lot. So you have to be strong for your kids. You know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.